Hello, and welcome back to Poquito podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Watch to the end because it helps us out, and leave a comment. Comments make you sexy. If you are listening on audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, make sure to leave a rate and review, 5 stars, please, and follow us there. If you're looking to support us or you want to come hang out with us, we have a public Discord available on the links in the descriptions and bios, and it's free to join. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great rooms, a lot of gaming rooms, a lot of cool stuff coming up in future months. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to check out our Patreon. Starting May 1st, we're actually going to be launching a new tier system. So $2 is going to get you early access to ad-free episodes. So if you don't like paying for Spotify Premium, if you don't like paying for extra apps just to listen to these goofy guys, follow us for $2 a month on Patreon. You get regular episodes a day early without any ads or interruptions. The next tier is the $5 tier. Now that gives you access to the bonus content. So along with the ad-frees, you get access to Patreon exclusive episodes, vlogs, blogs, behind the scenes content, a lot of good stuff there. For just a little bit more for that, at the $10 tier, you get all of that good stuff, plus you get access to the private servers. What that means is when we start Twitch, you're getting free access to our private Twitch streams, and you're getting access to our private gaming servers. Right now we have a great one for Minecraft on Bedrock, so any platform that you play on, you can join us at the $10 tier of Patreon. Finally, we have the VIP tier, and that gives you the early access, the bonus content, the private servers, and you get a producing credit at the end of every Un Poquito episode. Plus, you get a voucher for a free ticket for any live shows, whether it's in person or on the live stream. So, a lot of good stuff, no matter what you go with. Be sure to check it out, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Don't fly! Hello, I'm Rian Reyes.
And I'm Dominic Angel.
And I'm Ricky Macias.
And together we are Un Poquito!
Podcast.
Un Poquito podcast, exploring Latino culture little by little. How are we feeling?
We're inching along, I'll tell you that much.
Let's start that way. I finally have a caller to do that.
I'm doing good. I thank you for filling in my stead. I mean, we didn't have anyone else last week, but I was out of town because I was in Texas. It was a lot of fun.
How'd that go?
It was just crazy because, so we drove over on Thursday. I left at like 5 a.m. on Thursday. We went to El Paso, so it's like a 12-hour drive. I also did like some open mics when we got there. So we got in at 6, but we did the mics, and then I got back at like 9 or 10. I went to bed at like midnight, and then the morning we spent the day with our family. And then I did the show hosted by Omar Nava. Check that fool out because he's tight.
That's what's up.
Omar Nava, Jenny Robbins, Adrian Monroy, all great comics. It was one of the best shows I've ever had. I did 25 minutes.
That's wild.
I've done 20 minutes in the past, but it was like when I did 20 minutes for the first time, it was like, oh, this is all of my material. Like, it was like. I know you yawned, Ricky, but it just looked like you were like terrified by the concept of like
All of your material.
Soiled it.
But yeah, the first time I did 20 minutes, it was like I probably was doing it for like 1, maybe 2 years. It was in Portland, and I was originally supposed to do like 12 minutes, but the headliner dropped out. And since I was visiting, they were like, "Can you do 20?" And I was like, yeah, technically.
Hell yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, so we did the show, and then we ended up hanging out a bunch, and I didn't get back. I don't think we went to sleep on Saturday until like 5 a.m. again. And then we left. We ended up seeing my tia and my grandma one last time before we left. We're on the road at 7, so I'm tired. Texas is really cool. Being back in El Paso is honestly really cool. I haven't been back probably in like 2 years, but even before that, it was like 13 years. So like the last time I went, It was with my whole family, so it was a lot of just like family stuff. So we didn't really go out and do stuff. It was just like seeing my tios and tias and like spending time at my grandma's house. But this time it was just like me, my brother Diego came and we hung out with my uncle Mikey, and we just kind of like just saw the town. Downtown El Paso is really nice, really cool. A lot of people are saying that they've been like fixing it up a lot, and like there's a lot of like cool places to hang out.
It's looking nice. They put plastic on the carpet. I should have said couch instead of carpet. That was dumb.
Plastic on the carpet.
Yeah. Just bubble wrap everywhere. They think it's a rug.
That's the plastic?
It's
Bubble
one
wrap?
of those new space age rugs. It's got air in it.
You got to replace it every 2 to 3 days, but it does its job.
You drop anything, it's perfect.
Did you guys ever see that Smart House movie?
Yeah. Yes.
Terrified me as a kid.
You know the part that always tripped me out, right? So you know how like they have that huge party in Smart House, and then they're like, "What are we gonna do? Our parents are coming home. They're gonna know we had a party." And the Smart House is like, "Just throw everything on the ground," right? And they're like, "What?" And they're like, "Look," and then they like spill the drink, and then it absorbs the drink, and then they look at each other like, "Oh, cool." So then they start throwing everything. Am I supposed to believe that this thing is just absorbing like cups and plates, and
not a passed out child?
Yeah. It always bothered me that they weren't just throwing like liquids and like organic material. They were throwing like plastic. I don't know why in my head I'm like, that synthetic material won't be absorbed by the house.
Biodegradables only.
You're not separating your plastics from your liquids.
I just, the thing about that movie is I just didn't think I'd be attracted to a house.
Dude, that movie scared me as a kid when she's like singing. The tornado's going and she's singing to them. That's fucking. That movie always scared me. Like when the tornado's going and she's singing to them. That was like creepy as shit to me. It was like the first time I ever understood like the feeling of having like a stalker or toxic like family member.
Oh, yeah.
Was that Katie Siegel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Katie Siegel.
Pretty hot.
I mean,
Peg.
I'm mostly kidding. I feel like I like her a lot because I want to say Katie Seagal because isn't that how they say her last name?
I didn't know how to pronounce it, and he said Siegel, so I just went with it. But it's
you
was
put
written
some respect on my
S-A-G-A-L.
housewife.
Yeah, that's funny, housewife.
Get it?
Yeah.
Because she's a house.
Yeah,
in
no,
that
I got
movie. Yeah.
She went from playing a housewife to playing a housewife.
Oh, that movie's directed by LeVar Burton.
Oh, for
Really?
real?
Is it LeVar or Lamar?
LeVar.
LeVar.
Have I been saying Lamar this
Phil
whole time?
Lamar is who you're thinking of.
Yeah, you're thinking
Probably.
of Phil Lamar.
That's why I got them confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, LeVar Burton directed
LeVar
Smart
Burton.
House.
That's crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
even realize.
That's
didn't
the
know that
dude
either.
from Reading Rainbow, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And Star Trek.
Such a random, like, wide variety of like credits.
I had heard that LeVar Burton would get like real like anxiety, like panic attack. I don't know if that's true, but I had heard that LeVar Burton got panic attacks from wearing that visor because he couldn't see shit.
Really?
Yeah, he had to learn how to do everything like just off of memory, like touching everything and like just knowing where stuff was.
Huh.
Yeah, because I think to create the like lighting effect, he couldn't actually see through it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I never thought about like how you made it look so natural.
Yeah.
Just like obviously he has a camera in there.
I think that's why they updated it when Picard got the spin-off, the like reboot. They just have him like he has like synthetic like android eyes or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of those things. That's a good thing about doing sci-fi is you could always just be like, zzz, 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 eyes are fixed.
I said that was like the funniest thing between American and British sci-fi is American sci-fi at least tries to make fake words that sound right. British is just like wibbly wobbly like bullshit word.
Yeah, this screwdriver makes some noises and it does some stuff.
There's a drink in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like something blaster.
Oh, really? The Baja Blaster. Yeah, it is. We're making fun of Doctor Who right now, right? Is what we're doing.
I'm making sci-fi in general.
Okay.
In
British
sci-fi is always like that one movie.
Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster.
Yes, they always have like weird, ridiculous names. The best I can compare it to in American cinema is what's that one movie? Something Bronco.
Gentleman Bronco.
The Gentleman
Gentleman's
Bronco.
I loved that movie.
I don't even know what
hated
that is.
I
You
hated it.
It's a
Why?
comedy, sort of,
Oh,
and it's
hold on.
about this kid who writes a short story, and the short story is stolen by their favorite writer.
Because he attends a workshop by like the number one sci-fi writer or fantasy writer.
Yeah.
And so he submits his story for like the camp or whatever, and then the guy steals it from him.
Damn.
Yeah, and it comes from this era of like I want to say like 70s style sci-fi, like Philip K. Dick type stuff, but like the books, not the movies. And England just like ran with it forever.
It reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite.
That's what I thought it was going to be like, and it wasn't.
It was not. The funniest thing is Jennifer Coolidge is in it, and she plays just like his mom, who I guess she had like a breakdown from being left, and so she makes these popcorn sculptures, and he gets arrested for harassing the writer, and so she's trying to give him his birthday present in prison, and she's like shoving this hard like styrofoamish like Rice Krispie thing through the bars of the jail, and she's just like, she spends way too much energy on it, and it breaks in half, and she's like, you can eat that later.
Have you done comedy outside of like LA or like California areas?
Mostly just. I think I've only been in California. I've done in San Diego. I've done in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's only California I've been into.
How did it go in San? It's interesting because San Diego and San Francisco have like pretty good. Like obviously, San Francisco has a really good comedy scene, and San Diego has like a burgeoning one.
San Diego's been pretty good, apparently. The more I've learned about it.
Yeah, Brian Simpson, Taylor
Brian Simpson.
Tomlinson,
Yeah.
Connor.
McGregor.
Yeah, I was gonna say Connor Oberst, but that was a good one too.
Uh,
Doing mics in like smaller scenes is brutal. Like,
Yeah.
it's rough. El Paso does this thing that not a lot of other places do, but it's small enough where it makes sense. Where every time I go to an open mic in El Paso, I've done 4 so far, and they're all like, I show up every time and I talk to the host, and I'm like, so how many minutes is it? And he's like, oh, just whatever, like whatever you're feeling. Like, well, it's like we do it by vibes. Like, you don't get a time limit, so sometimes people are fucking bombing.
Damn.
But it's cool. It's honestly, it's cool to have that, because the last one that I went to, he was like, oh, like we'll give you, it's a 15-minute max, which is insane. But if you have material that you're like trying to work on, having that space to do it is like crucial. Because I went up and I was like dead tired, but I was just like, you know what? I have a show tomorrow. I haven't gone up enough. So I'm like, let me just like take my time and like try to remember the jokes that I want to tell, and so it ended up working out. We did that one at this place called Kaffa's, which is just like a little coffee shop, and then we walked a couple blocks to this bar called B17, and that shit, people were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go there after, and then all the comedians, like all the locals, were like, yeah, go there if you want to see us. I'll have a mental breakdown. Like, it was fucking brutal, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it was a sports bar and grill. I don't think it was it was a sports bar and grill. And the thing is like
Was it themed after the plane?
that
Because it's a B-17 bomber.
would make sense because everybody there was bombing their asses off. Dude.
Aye.
But everybody there was telling us like all there really is to do in El Paso is drink. Like, there's like bars and clubs. That's what most people do. So like, you've been to like shitty open mics at a bar where
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't even have to leave the greater Los Angeles area to get those. But I did do one in San Francisco where it was called the Brainwash, I think.
Oh, with the laundromat coffee shop.
Yeah, there's a laundromat coffee shop.
Which, smart idea.
Smart idea, but it's also like,
Think about it. You go, you do your laundry. You're gonna be there for an hour.
and then
right?
if you shit yourself from having too much coffee, you can just wash your clothes right there, baby. But yeah, that was like a little bad for me there. Like the shows I did were like okay. I didn't do horrible, but I did only okay, and I felt like, you ever do like whatever and you get money and you're like, I feel like I stole this money from them.
Yeah.
But
I mostly don't get when I do get paid. But yeah, I have gotten that feeling of like, oh, I shouldn't get, But the thing, I don't know. I always feel it's weird being from LA and like going to do comedy somewhere else because I feel like there's a lot of weird pressure. Like when I've gone to Portland and I've gone to when I was in El Paso, every time they bring me up, they're like, "All right, we got a new comic here from LA. He's from Los Angeles.
Watch out."
Yeah. And then I'm like, don't do that. Like, especially in places like San Francisco, like, I don't know if it was just me, like, being in my feelings about it, but I've talked to Armando Torres about it and being in San Francisco, and he was like, yeah, San Francisco doesn't like LA.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. And then because he was telling me a story about how his friend was at the Punchline in San Francisco, and he was trying to introduce himself to the booker, and the booker was straight up like, "Why would I help you? Like, you're from out of town. You're not gonna help the scene." Like,
in a way, I get it.
yeah. So it's crazy, but it's always just like, I always feel like this weird pressure whenever somebody's like, "He's from LA, he's from California," especially in Texas.
Yeah.
It's like dude, in Texas, if somebody finds out you're like, "Oh, hey, I'm visiting from California," they're like, "You think you're better than me?"
Like, oh,
Yes.
I did start off my set by saying that. I was like, "Yeah, I used to live in El Paso until I was 5, and then I left for a better life."
I always imagine like doing that with a different, like, that's a mostly LA, New York thing, but imagine like, look out, he's from Lincoln, Nebraska. These jokes are corny as fuck. The mascot's the corn.
Like, we all got it, Ryan.
Did you ever do the Santa Ana open mic?
No, Fathers?
Fathers? Yeah,
No.
you know immediately.
I never got to.
The Fathers, I think it's shut down now. They even filmed like a scene in a movie there that I was in.
For real?
A shout out Andres Tabuada, but it was a sketchy ass like bikerish energy bar next to a tattoo parlor, and it's like the people at the tattoo parlor would come in and talk shit to comedians during their set while they're getting wasted after their tattoo parlor shift, and then there was always like, it always felt like something was gonna go down, and sometimes it did. And I gotta say, it wasn't at times it was kind of fun because it was crazy, but other times you're like, oh, someone's gonna die. It's like,
Those places, like, when I found out that they were doing shows at was it Silver Star Saloon, or was it
where's that?
Silver Spoon? I think it's Silver Star. It's in El Monte, I think.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Portland one.
No.
That one was called the Silver Dollar.
Yeah, so there's a Silver Dollar Saloon in Portland, but there's a place I think it's in El Monte called the Silver Star or something like that. And it's a bike. It's like, I went there on a first date.
Really?
Because I knew nothing about this place, but the girl like knew that was like her bar, like that's where she went, like she knew all the staff and like all the regulars and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be like if I brought somebody to Chatterbox.
Yeah.
Like, but at this bar, it's like all bikers and like a lot of people that were like, people looked upset that I was in there.
Yeah.
Like. So I found out that they were doing comedy there, and I was like, that's crazy. I have not heard any good stories about that place. But when I went to B17s in El Paso, it was wild because it's big, like it's a big space, and like they have like a full stage, and then they have like rows of tables. So potentially, like if it was a full house, like it would make for a really good venue. Because you could probably fit like 150 people in there.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a cool spot, but like the problem is that the people that were going there, like it's the comics for the open mic, and then it's everybody else, and the other people are like, I came here to drink. I came here because I'm like finished with work. I'm not here to like listen to these fools like be terrible at comedy. So like they were like heckling, talking loud as fuck, like. When I went up, I was like, I can't even hear myself. Like,
damn,
that's how loud, like, just the talking was. It was rough. But those are like good. I feel like, what did I say? I was like, oh, it was good it was a good way to practice dying. Like,
Yeah. And in a way, I do like those rooms sometimes, especially like when you have like a show that you feel is important coming up. Like I feel like it's good at a good time, not a good time, a good practice to like almost even try to bomb before an important show.
to get it out of the
to
system.
get it out of the system, and you're like, oh, I can get through that. This will be fine, and like have a good energy for a show coming up. Because that's, to me, I've done the best like when I've recently bombed.
Yeah, it makes you kind of like makes you hungry for it. You're like, now I'm really gonna put it. Yeah, I've done that before where I did a guest spot on a booked mic, but I didn't know it was a booked mic. And the thing about like booked mics are like people hate whoever has the book spot. So it's like the way that those run is like it's a regular open mic that people you can come and sign up, you get your name pulled, whatever. But then they have like 3 or 4 book spots, and the regular spots are like 3 to 5 minutes, and then the book spots is like 8 to 10 minutes, usually like something like that. So you get more time. And the thing is like, I didn't know that. I thought it was a show. Fucking Jay Light booked me for that because he saw me at the Pack.
That's funny.
And he was like, oh, do you want to do my show? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. I would fucking love to do that. But he didn't tell me it was a booked mic. And so I was like, I showed up like all dressed nice, like I was going to perform. And dude, they fucking hated me.
Yeah, booked mics are like the worst combinations of a mic and a show because like you're right, they hate you, but they also hate you because it's like they are the audience waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
And you get more time.
And they're like, I should be up there.
Yeah.
Or just like, I want to go up already. Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah. Now you're making me wait longer because instead of you getting 3 minutes, you get 10 or something.
Right. Yeah. So it was like that. And I was just like, I remember talking to Sam Harder, and he's like, yeah, you do book spots so you can learn how to bomb. Like you're not going to do well at a book spot ever. So it was like, I did that. But then right after that, I went to Chatterbox. It was like the same day as Chatterbox. I was like, I got to fucking get this funk off of me. And like, I did Chatterbox. And I was just like, I just went up to Kevin Macias and I was like, can I go up? And he put me up in like right after. And then I had a fucking amazing set.
I
and
love
like,
those.
okay.
I love those moments. Make it feel like a movie, almost like you're coming back from like a defeat.
Yeah, it was cool because I remember like it was one of those nights, when you walk into, especially at Chatterbox, when you walk into a space and you're like, oh, there's fucking like fire in here tonight. Like,
yeah.
Like it was just like really good energy all around. Like you walk in and whoever's on stage fucking,
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names. Never mind.
Goofy McGooberson is killing. Wow.
It was one of those nights where it was just like already good, which probably makes my win like a little bit less impressive. But it was just tight to just like be able to go up after like I fucking drove for 30 minutes like depressed because I bombed. Those open mics, I was just like, I just can't take anything personal. I'm like just focused on memorizing my material and like performing. And then like on the day of the show, it was just like, I wish we would have recorded it. Like I wish you guys could have seen it because it was like, I'm saying this like standing outside of the performance was like, oh, I've never performed like this before.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even just like that it was good, which it feels good to do well like that, but it was like my performance style changed.
Aha. You were learning how to ride the wave, maybe.
Yeah. I was like, oh, something's different about this.
I don't know. There's something that can only be unlocked in the moment. I guess like being in the moment or whatever. But when you can actually feel what's happening and almost, I guess, riding a wave is the only thing I can think of right now. But there's a way to not just react, but play with it, like be really a part of it.
So you're not just talking about like flow state.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say in a very inarticulate way. Yeah.
Because there is like flow state where you're doing the thing you know very well and you're just in the zone. And then there's like putting some finesse on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
when you're in the zone, but you're also like You could sauce it up a little.
Yeah.
Drop that stank.
Drop that stank. Steez, they call it.
That's these. I honestly, I would say it was more. I feel like it was more like putting that stank on it, because I've done well. I do well. I do well all the time, guys. All right, believe
Good
me.
at this.
Please believe me. Please
I'm serious.
Yeah,
Stop.
I'm a good comedian.
You're laughing at the wrong part.
No, I do. Like, I know what it's like to do well. Like, I know what it's
Yeah.
like for all my jokes to hit. But this was like I'm in front of it.
Not just riding the wave, but touching that water. You know,
Yeah,
they like
yeah,
touch the
yeah.
water a little bit.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh shit.
It was honestly, it was pretty tight. Like,
Yeah, riding that wave, slapping
it?
dolphins.
There's a
That would be crazy.
There's actually a thing in surfing. I forget what the phrase for it is, but it's when you're in the tunnel
Yeah.
of like being able to get out of it
Yeah.
before it closes. Like I that's the closest thing I think can represent that feeling.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or like you ever just ball up a wad and make it without looking? Oh,
Oh,
it's
especially
the best.
on the fourth try, right, Ryan?
Fuck off. Hey, but the fourth try, my eyes were closed.
That's funny.
I mean, yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Real quick. So for context, we were at lunch, and I get so annoyed when a ball doesn't go in the can right away.
I've
So I
been there.
had to keep trying it, and it took me like 4 or 5 tries. But the last time I was like, if I can do this with my eyes closed, it redeems the entire mess that I just made. Like, and it fucking sank.
It was
dog.
pretty satisfying.
Off the wall, off the glass.
Hey everybody, want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Legacy Teas and Spices, which is a company run by our mom, Angel Mesco, who's here with us today.
Hey guys.
Normally me and Ryan give you the spiel, but today we're going to let my mom tell you about her teas, so why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention we have several medicinal teas in stock. A lot of people have been asking. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions that they're working on. So we have tea to help. And so I just wanted to mention we have an immune system to help boost your immune system. We have a stress-free tea. We have a good night tea that helps with sleep. We have a turmeric ginger that helps with inflammation. We have a detox that's a cleansing tea. We have a digestive aid. We also have a weight management tea. We're all trying to get healthy right now, and with a proper diet and some exercise, these teas can really help you out. We have different sizes, and today we're holding up, this is like a starter size. It's a $12.95, but with your code you get the discount. And this can give you about 12 servings, give or take, depending on how much you use. But this is all artisan, hand blended by myself. And yeah, we have many flavors. Check out our website. Using UP23 at checkout so that we know you came from watching Un Poquito podcast. It gets them 23% off their entire purchase online at legacyteasandspices.com. All right, thanks you guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks you guys.
It was cool being in Texas, to be honest. Like, it was very different than like being in California. Like, first of all, it was nice. It was nice to be a few days away where it's like, I feel like even though like California is like super nice and there's like, we have a lot of access to a lot of like nature and like a lot of leisure, it's fucking fast paced here. And I feel like you don't notice it until you go somewhere else where it's much calmer.
I've definitely heard that.
I always compare it to like, at like Disneyland or like at theme parks. I don't know if they still have these, but they used to have those seats that massage your feet. Like they had that vibrating thing that would just massage your feet.
Yeah.
I used to love using those, but then after I used those, my feet hurt so much. And it was like, oh, I didn't realize my feet were hurting until I like massaged them to relax them. And then it was like I was fucked for the rest of the day because like my feet just hurt so much. I was like just living in a constant state of stress. But that's how it was like, like being out there. It was like, it's just like much calmer and like it felt nice. But then also it was really cool. I always, I don't speak Spanish, so I was like nervous, but it's like, it was cool to just like be around a bunch of Latinos because it's the majority demographic out there. And so like not just in comedy, but just like in regular, like day to day, like huge Spanish speaking population. And like, it felt like I've been to San Diego, you know, which is a border town too. I was in El Paso. El Paso's a border town. So it was like, San Diego does not feel like a Mexican city.
No, it's not. We tried to have Mexican food in San Diego. It's hard to find some good stuff.
You would think that being so close to the border that their Mexican food would be good, but it's like they have. I remember Armando again. We went to Portland, and Armando, he's like between San Diego and the IE and Los Angeles. Like that's where he was doing comedy, but we went to Portland together, and he found this restaurant that like made carne asada fries, and then he was like super excited because all of the food in Portland is good. Like it's all good except the Mexican food. Like all of it's not like none of it is good. There's one spot. What is it? De Leon's Tortilleria y Tienda.
Cool.
That place, it's in northern Portland, I believe. It's run by like Mexicans, and it's one of the oldest like tortilla shop in the city. Like it's been there for like since '65, I think.
Damn.
Yeah. There's like a big mural on the side, but that place has really good Mexican food. So if you're in Portland, that's where you go.
Noted.
It's near a gas station and a laundromat. But anyway, he found this like nice place that had carne asada fries, and like the guy, like it was one of those restaurants where like the owner goes around and talks to people and like checks in on them and stuff. And so he checked in on them and like he's like, oh, you got like we have the original, like we're the original carne asada fries in Portland. And then Armando had it and he was like, this ain't it, dog.
Damn.
He didn't say it like that, but he just like made a face like, and the guy was like, you don't like it? And he's like, no, it's just because I'm from San Diego and like this is, you know, it doesn't match up. And he was like, we're from San Diego. Like these are carne asada fries from San Diego. It's some white dude. Like this is authentic. Like we brought it from San Diego with us.
Just imagining, like, do you like it? Not like this.
Being in San Diego it's like there's a lot of conservative white people, and like first of all, being in El Paso, there's a lot of conservative people in general. It's, you know, they're also next to a military base, so you do see a lot more conservatives out there, but it just felt the energy was different. Like it felt better. It just felt more comfortable, like not having to think about the spaces that I'm in, which, look, you don't have to live your life this way of like being constantly conscientious about stuff like that. But I feel like I do try to work towards letting that go, especially like being in LA and having to be in spaces that are like, I wish I didn't care that I could go to a show that is all white people on the show and like I didn't care about it because I could just like enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I was going to say, not to like double down on the Matrix reference, but there's a line in the most recent movie, the fourth one, where the character, one of the characters is like, a lot of people choose the red pill and they wish they could choose the blue, but the pills are a farce. Once you know the difference, you know, and you can never forget it. And I feel like that directly applies to what you're saying of like, once you have acknowledged it, it's a thing that's hard to not see all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you have to you have to do the work of just like letting go of like caring about it, of like letting it affect your day-to-day life. But it was cool because in El Paso I didn't have to do that. Like
You get to practice.
But also, I know I get to practice. But also, it's just like it's not perfect. Like I'm not trying to shit. I just know that like there's like we were talking earlier about like being in Texas and about how like we're like for us it's easy to be there, but you were saying like your partner doesn't want, like Christina doesn't want to.
Oh yeah, my partner's like, I'm never going. She's like, not even Austin. She's like, don't even ask me to move over there.
Yeah,
It's like I've alluded to it, like, oh, like theoretically it could be a good choice for me to go move over there for like, because I could probably find work and do comedy.
Yeah,
still over there. and it might be cheaper or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, no.
I get it. It's not perfect for everybody, but it just like that aspect of things was nice, to just like be around Mexicans like in a comfortable space. Was pretty cool.
That does remind me though of something that I've been thinking about lately, because I was born in El Paso, and my mom and our like immediate family lived there for 3 years before we moved, or we like 2.5 years, I would say. Like, she was pregnant with my little brother when we left, but he was born in California. But it reminds me of these things of like, I don't think that I would have not liked like growing up with that family there, but I am kind of happy that as an autistic person, I did not grow up in Texas.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, it's not to just shit on Texas. There's autistic people there that survive and live and function, and I acknowledge that. I'm not trying to dismiss that, but it's a much different mentality towards the special needs and neurodivergent people than it is in California, like 100%.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there, to be honest, like while I was there was, you can hear people talk, not necessarily about autism and stuff, but like people are starting to catch up to like mental health awareness out there, because it is like, it's very conservative. It's a lot of religious people, and a lot of like shut up and nut up kind of like mentality. Yeah.
Come on, you nutter butter.
Please. It was interesting going back to visit family, because like I talked about it a little bit in the Patreon, but like I went and I didn't visit. Like if you look at my Instagram, I posted a picture of like in front of my old elementary school that I went. I went to kindergarten there for like a couple months before I moved to California. But it was like my older brother went to school there for like until like second grade, I think. So like we had a life in Texas, and one of the things my uncle was telling me, because I went back and just like passed by the apartment that we used to live in. We visited the apartment complex, and like I remember like distinctly like the area that it was in, and like I didn't like go up to it and like do the fucking what's that guy's name? Everything is illuminated.
Neo?
Elijah Wood?
That the book that movie is based upon, the author.
No.
It's actually a reference to Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, where like I guess the character in the book goes to visit a place. Anyway, I didn't do the thing where I'm like, I used to live here, can I come take a look around? I just was like,
don't mind me just taking pictures of your windows.
I did take a picture. I was in the middle of the street taking
middle of
photos.
class, like, don't worry about it.
But my uncle was like, oh, my uncle's only a few years older than me. He was always like part of like the cousins, like even though he's our uncle, he was like part of the cousins. So like he was like, man, it's crazy how like we were younger, like we were just like not blind, but he was just like we're so like oblivious to the stuff that was going on, and because he was like, I didn't realize like how rough that neighborhood you guys lived in was, like, and he was like, yeah, it's like there's a lot of like, crime and like violence and stuff there, and it was like, it was rough. But to that point of just like talking to him about like, he was like opening up to me about stuff that he was dealing with and like taking care of himself mentally, and like going to talk to my tia Patty, who she's out there, like she's fucking badass. She's a artist. She's a painter, and she's like opening up a gallery that's like a cafe gallery, and she's starting like an alfalfa farm out there. Like she's doing a lot, but we ended up getting into a conversation kind of like where Ryan was talking about how like catching up to mental health, because she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at like in her adulthood, and so she was figuring out how to like take care of that on her own, and like just sharing her experience, like raising kids with like, and then trying to show them how to take care of their own like mental health and their own needs, which was really cool. But yeah, to your point, it's like there's not a lot of that out there.
Yeah.
Like it's the mentality of like keep your head down, work hard, like don't complain. What do you have to complain about, kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's like prevalent in most places. We talk about it a lot, but it is kind of a generational thing of like up until a certain point, that was just not something that was becoming normalized. And then when it started to become normalized, it was fought against. It was like the parent, like a kid grows up with autism or ADHD, but nobody knows what that is. So they're just like treated as a troubled child, like the troublemaker. They're constantly ridiculed. They're constantly lectured. They grow up with this secret rule book that only they know, because when they become adults, they can't understand that nobody else has that rule book. And so they treat their kids like that. And when in that generation, when that generation is living during a time where they're starting to understand, they don't want to admit that that's what happened, because then they have to admit that something bad happened to them. And you know, family is always a huge thing in the Latino community. So it's like you don't want to think that your family did something bad to you, especially when it wasn't something like violent or you know, extraordinarily abusive. It is to a degree still like traumatic. It is still like a brief cutaway of like we were talking about this thing where some like male family members of ours, when they meet a boyfriend of one of the female presenting people in our family, they want to like size them up by giving them a hard handshake. And Dominic was hearing them describe this, and he was like, you know, that's bullying, right? Like you're just antagonizing someone for no reason. And so that becomes the thing of like, that's just how they learn. That's how they cope. And then that generation is just trying to deal with like the second generation is the one that has to acknowledge it. And now they're like stuck in this weird ambiguous, like they know what's wrong, but they don't know how to fix it because there's like people are still learning about it. And so they have to wait for like 2-3 more generations before that's just a thing that everyone knows about. And even with that, like ADHD was something that was not super well known, but it was prevalent when I was a kid. It was starting to get well known, and it became so well known that people got to the point where they were so comfortable with the idea of it without understanding the concept that they dismissed it. It became a fake thing. It became a thing that's like, oh, that's just the new generation. It's like, no, this thing exists in all generations.
It's pretty cool that handshakes are directly correlated to your manliness. Shows how much of a man you are. You know what I mean?
I legit had a coworker like that. He literally believed that, and he would try to crush your hand. So all I did was like, because if you do it right, you basically he's just a dick that would grab the front of your hand and crush your knuckles into each other. But like he was strong. He was definitely stronger than me. But like according to his rule, he had to be able to crush my hand. So what you do is you just put your thumb against the thumb pit, whatever this part is, into their thumb pit, and just stiffen your hand, because if they grab around here, it's too strong.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And I would just be like, go for it. And he'd get really like upset because I didn't let him grab there. And then he eventually would back off and do that. But I was like, you lost. You lost. According to your game, you lost because you couldn't crush my hand.
And that makes you more of a man than him.
Yeah. So he would get upset.
You beat him at the little mini hand game.
I went like a completely different route. In middle school, there was these two dudes that like, I want to say because we're so small, like now they're like your height, but in middle school they would have been like Dominic's height. They're still very tall for children. But they would do that thing. I went a different route where it's like it didn't hurt me. So they would like grab my fingers and they would try to grind them when I didn't react right away. And they go, okay, my turn. And I'm like double jointed. So I wrap my thumb around and I just rub against their knuckles really hard. And it would just like, it'd be giving them like an Indian burn on their knuckles, which is an offensive term that we shouldn't use. I couldn't figure out how else to describe it.
There's a comic on TikTok that joked about that. He's like, oh, sorry, indigenous birds.
That's pretty good.
That's very funny.
So they said indigenous people birds or something. I was like, that's very funny.
Yeah. Male dominance is such a funny thing. Like
It's hilarious.
It starts to get annoying because it's like,
we were talking about handshakes and he was like, yeah, he has like a weak handshake and he's a mechanic. You would expect, like, wouldn't you expect? And I'm like, yeah, I would expect, but also who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck?
I don't care. Like, is he? You've missed the whole point. Is he nice to her? Like,
Yeah.
Is he a good person to her?
Well, because that's the thing.
Yeah.
The family member we were talking about, they broke up with that person,
Yeah.
and then started dating someone new, and that guy grew up entirely around women, so he also didn't know how to have a firm handshake. He was used to greeting women and just being very gentle intentionally, and he's super nice. Everyone loves him, but they did like it's like you're saying that after the fact to affirm your decision to be mean to this person.
Yeah.
Because you're not mean to this guy, but he also doesn't have a strong handshake.
Yeah.
And I do feel like though that he got the vibes right away because I remember we were at a family gathering and everyone is drinking Heineken or Blue Moon, and he likes cocktails. And he got a Smirnoff screwdriver. And Smirnoffs are twist-offs. And the other bottles were bottle openers, but he sees everyone else open the bottles, and he already knows they talk shit about his handshake. So he comes up to me, I have the bottle open. He's like, can you open this for me, please? I was like, oh, it's a twist-off. He's like, please just do it.
He's like, you're the nice one. Yeah, it's so silly.
That's why I knuckle bump. I don't fuck with handshakes.
Yeah, some people take it a little too seriously.
I think it's funny. It's funny to me. So when dudes do it, I like to do it back. You know what I mean? Or just like when you meet like an older person, because that's like their game. It's fun to play along sometimes. Because I don't actually have any feelings
It's
about
fun
it.
to be trolly, but it's like it's just annoying because it's like it just gets in the way of things. I don't know. There's this one time. Excuse me.
You burped the memory.
I was just about to say, forget everything about yourself.
The funny thing is that's been happening to all of us. Every time we burp, we just like lose our thought. Like,
There was this one guy in high school. We both would run track, right? We both are on the track team, and I was like cross country and long distance track. And one time in class, I eventually got like, I think he wanted to like me, or I don't know, but he would always be like, he's like, oh, you know, I could run faster than you, right? And I'm like, yeah, you're a sprinter, like for sure. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, and I could run longer than you. He's like, but I could run faster than you. And I was like, yeah, that's how this is how our choices work. I could run longer and you could run faster, and that's okay. He's like, but I could beat you. And I was like, all right, like, yeah, all right. Like,
yeah.
like,
it's funny because all you have to do is make the race just a few feet longer.
Yeah.
And eventually he'll tire out.
yeah. But then, like, because he kept doing that, I was like, I don't know. Like, some of you sprinters have gone on long distance runs with us, and you guys would lose. And I think some of us could beat you guys in sprints, and you start getting real mad. But it's annoying.
Yeah, like macho guys are really funny. I told you that story about how like I was hooking up with that girl that was like an athlete. Like
Yeah.
she was a personal trainer, like very fit. And I was talking to my friend about it. And I was like, yeah, it's like, you just don't get, like, you don't know how exciting it is to like have sex with somebody stronger than you. And he's like, yeah, or, you know, as strong. He couldn't fathom like anybody being stronger than him, like a woman being stronger than him.
Can't have a woman 3 count me, bro.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, what with bone density?
Oh, you're talking about the Pursuit of Happiness movie, that bone density scanner?
I thought you were talking about my dick.
That's right.
Density of this bone. Ayo!
Hey, get a scanner for this thing.
I did think it's funny
Stat
to be
finder
like, so I was with this girl who was super hot, like really in shape, perfect, and we were together, and it was, I don't know, I just think it's so funny. It's funny to over describe how in shape she was.
No, well,
I know that it's a part of the thing, but
I thought it'd be funny
have
if
you
there was-
been with like a weightlifter, like a strong
No.
person?
Oh.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just like, I'm not even talking about the attractiveness. I'm saying she was fit. Like she's like an athlete.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
It just sounds.
I'm not
funny when you
bragging,
describe-
okay?
It sounded
No, but
braggy.
that was funny because I thought that's what it would have been funny if you had no point to it. You were just like, I had sex with this really hot girl once.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I like how you're trying to bring down the male ego and you're talking about how you fuck hot people. Like,
That's the thing about macho guys is that I was with this lady that was super beautiful. And she was perfect in every way.
He could never get her.
Yeah. That guy.
I did something impulsive.
Yeah.
While you were gone, I cut my hair.
oh, your hair's different.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing about I'm appreciative that it looked good, but honestly, I shouldn't have done it, and I didn't do it for the reason people think. I made the joke that it's like it's gonna be summer, it's gonna be beneficial, but what happened? And this is people aren't necessarily asking why, but I think that the story is funny, and it's like,
We all need to know.
I know, it was just so funny. To preface it, it's like, nobody's asking. But I wish they would.
The opposite. I know
No,
you're
but
all
it's-
wondering.
because it's the summer and generally people with longer hair cut it in the summer so that they don't have to deal with like that sweat and the heat. And that's usually why I do it. But what happened this time was like I also have ADHD and I was by myself for like a week and I had to take care of my pets and work on clips. And so I was like overworked, I'm tired, I'm stressed out. And every time I went to eat cereal, I didn't like putting my hair in a bun because it feels constrictive on my scalp. But when I would eat without the bun, the hair would seep into my mouth. And so finally I got mad at my hair and I cut it all off like I was punishing it. Like, fuck you. You're going to get in my way? Then I'm going to get in your way.
Oops, all Harry's.
And that's how impulsive.
That's the new cereal.
Gross!
It's just like pieces of Ryan's green red dyed hair.
Pieces of hair. The trick is that we put hair in your food.
The flavor's locked in.
Silly hair tricks are for kids. But yeah.
That's funny because rabbits are called Harry's.
Wait, did you say frosted tip flakes?
No.
That's fucking funny.
Guy Fierios.
Damn, you guys are good today.
You
Talking
do
about
one.
Sorry. It took me a second to hear what you said, and then everyone's staring at Dominic.
Hair.
Forget
was-
about it.
That was life cereal.
It probably tastes the same.
But yeah, I got mad at my hair, so I punished it. I don't know if
Frank and Harry.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that works.
Yeah, Frank and Harry's.
that just sounds like a delicatessen. Frank and Harry's delicatessen.
It's a family business.
That was good. I love today. Oh, you guys are awesome.
I'm putting that left after my handshake joke.
Just have a loop every time you tell a joke.
Yeah. Same
You're just here in the studio alone playing the clip.
We've been gone for years.
Eating a bowl of my own hair.
Fierios. Oh my god. I have to pee.
See you Sunday, boys.
Cool.
We're just gonna have like behind the scenes of you just doing that.
ASMR.
ASM fart.
I do that when I'm sleeping.
That would be a funny ASMR video, just some fool laying down farting.
Yeah, Christina tells me about it. She's very upset.
Gotta pop a Tums before you go to bed, bro.
It's my life. It's just what it is.
Need some Prilosec.
You gotta cut cheese out.
I know.
Stop cutting the cheese.
That's a proactive mentality, and I'm American. So
I take
have
a reactive mentality.
I thought you were gonna make an American cheese joke.
I eat cheese. I bomb Iraq.
Hey, there's a couple steps in between there.
There's fondues and there's fondants.
I'm more of a fondant. I love
Cake.
shitty cheesecake. No.
You keep connecting these dots.
Don't have anything to do with each other.
Fondant on a cheesecake
Feels
would
like
be
a fever
terrible.
dream, dude.
Dude, he's just fucking
Oh.
free word association ciphery. Like,
It's like the Beautiful Mind scene where he's singing the numbers, but it's all like just words that don't have to do anything with each other. It's cherry, rabbit, car crash, airplane.
Potato.
Oh, anyway.
Carne asada. Steak fries.
steak in my heart, Dracula, cow chalk. I don't know. I'm not good at this.
Dracula, Frank and Harry's delicatessen.
Yeah, we're back.
You ever had a Reuben sandwich? He's a little bitter. I'm sorry.
That sounded like you made him into the sandwich.
Yes, that's what I was doing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, get it. I get it. I knew a guy named Ruben.
Yeah.
And then you ate.
Put a little crowd on him. He's good to go.
Just a German guy.
You're talking about sauerkraut. Anyway.
He's Mexican.
He could be both. High population.
Can you fix that? Good enough.
It'll take a while. But
Oh, no, it's good. It's good.
It's good. It's good.
I feel like that's a common reaction when someone notices something askew and then they see me notice it. They're like, no, it's good. It's fine. Don't touch it. Because I will stay there until it's 100% perfect.
I have video evidence that that's not true. I've watched you not make that perfect before. On camera and been like, really?
Yeah, it was
I was-
me that wasted too much time on it.
It was, I
It's just
remember
me
that.
going spinning.
You were like, perfect. And it was like, ski. All right.
I think
We find out I'm on a slant.
That's funny.
Whoa,
One of your legs
I
longer
wanted
than the
to
other.
reel it back in real quick.
He looks
Because
over at us. His eyes are like,
the hair thing reminded me of something though that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to ask you specifically because we've talked about you maybe having ADHD. Do you talk to inanimate objects like they're people?
wait, that's an
give me an
ADHD
example.
Like, oh, I can only use examples that I know of, but like sometimes when something's frustrating me, I talk to it like it's a person. And some people think that I do it when people are around because I think it's funny, but I do it when no one's around. It's just like a thing I do. Like when I'm making a balloon, I get frustrated when the folds aren't holding. So I'll be like, if you don't behave, I'm going to turn you into a poodle because the poodles are the easiest balloons. So I'm like punishing the balloon.
thing? You're basic.
So you're saying it doesn't matter that he was alone, that he would have started talking to the volleyball anyways, even if he wasn't stranded on the island?
Yes, I appreciate a dated Tom Hanks reference.
I'm going to do it now for sure.
It's a sequel to Castaway, but it's about someone with ADHD. It's just called Wandered Off. I'm just
That's
talking
all
to the
I
ball.
used to do. Oh,
Talks to
man.
the ball just for fun.
I thought everyone talks to inanimate objects.
They do.
Yeah, that's always like my internal side when like you might be neurodivergent.
might be autistic.
Artistic.
Artistic.
ARTISTAC. Artistic.
That should be a hashtag artistic, but it's AURTI.
Yes.
It's just the hashtag for when you make balloons. Dude, every balloon maker I've met since starting this has been autistic. 100%.
That's crazy to me because I feel like he gave me one of the turtle balloons and I grabbed it and I was like, this is disgusting. And I put it down. I was like, this
Like
is
the egg.
yeah. I couldn't. I was like, this is gross. I hate balloons.
I hate all the balloons.
I hate all the balloons in the world.
I just still love Ryan's face with the egg. That scene of him with the egg when we were talking about it. Like,
Do you hate like rubber gloves?
No, it's not the rubber itself. It's the air. It's the pressure.
oh, so you hate condoms.
Yeah, I'm not into rubber. Sorry.
I feel bringing it back. I feel like there's two types of ADHD.
The good
There-
kind and the bad kind.
Condom or no condom.
There's people that talk to inanimate objects, and there's people that name inanimate objects.
You can't do that to me, dude.
What?
Got him.
Well, let me ask you this: what's your cactus's name?
Barry, but that's besides the point. That's nothing to do with it.
I don't know why. That's like the funniest thing. And anytime you see just a pet cactus in anyone's house, you ask them, "What's your cactus's name?" They'll always have an answer. Like immediately, it's Jack.
Yeah, name your plants.
Cactus Jack. I get it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That's good.
I didn't put that together.
I don't know what the reference is.
It's a wrestler.
It's a wrestler.
God damn it! You're supposed to laugh. I know.
I'll put the clip.
I'm realizing we all could use a nap in between episodes. And if we all just need a cuddle, apparently, before an episode recording, because this was a good episode. And
But did you guys
as far
nap?
as
I was having
vibes.
fun.
Yeah,
I-
you just napped.
Yeah.
He napped.
That's what
He
he's
actually
saying.
fell asleep, but
he
I
was like snug wedged between, literally in this much space that you see now. He was just wedged in between here, just like.
That was a good nap, baby.
Farting it up.
Farted it up.
It's like what Dominic's saying. Sometimes you just need to be held.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
If only we had the coffin tent.
dude. If I got that fabric coffin, dude.
Fabric
I'd
coffin.
fucking-
Fabric coffin.
yeah.
get
It's
it
all
to-
one word, right?
You get it to
Connected by
dangle,
the
you can
sea?
call it the
Yeah.
chrysalis.
That's an Italian vampire for sure.
That's funny. It's good.
It's got to be fashionable.
It's suede.
There was a band. I think it was called Norma Jean.
Uh huh.
That they were a hardcore band. I don't know if it's Norma Jean, but it was a hardcore band that all of their song titles were stuff like that, like Fabric Cotton. But it was like the one that I remember was Disconnect Tie. Was the title of the
Oh,
song.
I see. Fashion puns.
Yeah.
About
They all have, like-
Capri Sun. Huh?
It's metalcore. Okay.
Metalcore. Oh, sorry.
Normcore. Have you ever
It's
heard,
just Norm.
have you heard of normcore?
I'm starting to hear about it.
It's barely.
Metalcore?
Is like really hardcore Norm Macdonald fans?
No,
That's awesome.
to me it's like because like core obviously like describes a specific aesthetic that is connected to a type of personality.
The biggest example of normcore is Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's something
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know
so
what this-
normal it's unusual.
It's just
Or,
so
like,
crazy
specific.
that the epitome of normcore is a neurodivergent boomer.
That's pretty fun.
It's basically Larry David.
I would say
Larry
it's more Jerry
David?
Seinfeld.
Yeah, he's like normcore.
Yeah.
Fashion icon. It's a fashion style. Yeah.
Oh, so it's just like Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wears flip flops.
It's like unpretentious. It's like the basic. Let me see. What did it say?
So
Normcore is a unisex fashion trend characterized by unpretentious, average-looking clothing.
like Shaggy
Polos, khakis.
or like Jerry from Rick and Morty.
So they just like they're taking
Basically,
40-year-old
dads.
men's
Yeah.
clothes. Yeah,
Dad swag is in.
Yeah.
that's wags.
Early 2000 like sitcom dad styles.
Yes. So Mike and Molly.
Target vibes.
Yeah, I don't know. Today was good. It felt good. I think naps are good. I do think it's important to like call this stuff out, like, and to recognize when things are feeling good. Because like this last week, especially going to Texas and doing that show, the show was fucking like it was an incredible show.
Yeah, I almost. No, I'm a little bummed out. I didn't get to see any of it because, like, I saw the pictures and I can only imagine. Like, it was like, this looks cool, but I have no idea. Maybe he could have, like,
Just bombed my dog off.
Yeah.
My dog off. I brought my dog so I could bomb him.
What?
I was gonna,
snow.
I know. I was gonna say my dick, but
That's what the book's called. I just remembered that's a book about autism.
yeah, that's the thing about having photographers is like a lot of times they just like having photographers at comedy shows because it's like you could be bombing your ass off, but in the picture you're like, hey, like it looks fucking sick. Yeah, but no, it was I had a great show. Had like, and even honestly, the last 4 episodes, last 5 episodes. I mean, the last run of episodes that we've been putting out together have been fucking sick. I'm like really excited about what we're doing right now. Yeah, it's just fun. It's just like I'm really glad that we're doing this. You know, y'all. I love.
Did you get drunk all of a sudden?
No, I just was feeling that as we were talking about stuff. Like,
Start crying.
I mean, this is.
I love you guys. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's just like it. I think having gone to, it wasn't like a religious, spiritual experience like going to Texas, but like to be away from like my busy life, go do a show and feel good and like be with family and like kind of take a breath and then coming back and like we're having fun with you guys, you know? And
Yeah.
like, you know, it's.
I could take it or leave it.
We're having fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. And like, especially I mean, we've had laughs in the last few episodes, but we've also been like talking about like not heavy stuff, but like, you know,
Real life shit.
real shit, dog. It's good to have moments where we could just like recognize like we're having a good time. What are you doing?
I'm having a good time.
He's smiling, dude. Let's try it sometime.
Everyone is dancing at the party.
I know we're winding down, but you don't gotta literally wind down. Keep your
I know, I've
energy
been
up.
falling in the
He find out he's a robot. He's Frank and Harry.
I just wanted to put out there for anybody listening, anybody that's made it this far, like
We love you.
sing your own praises, you know,
Yeah.
celebrate your wins.
Yeah, I'm not good at it for myself, but people deserve it.
If you made it this far, what's your favorite cereal pun? And from us at Un Poquito, don't fly.